Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Mindfully Rich podcast, your weekly look at life and finances with a twist, where we talk about improving your overall relationship with money and building better financial habits. On each episode, I'll discuss real life situations and give y'all practical advice. The point of this podcast is to help you stay in your financial lane so you won't end up broke. I'm the creator and host, Gina Richie Richardson. Now, let's jump into today's conversation. Child, all I could say is thank you, thank you, thank you to all of my rich gang out there. Y'all don't even know how much of a blessing y'all are to me. I truly do appreciate y'all for listening, for supporting, and y'all are truly a testament of if you build it, they will come. And I truly love how y'all have been supporting me over the years, how y'all are now supporting the new series, Mindfully Rich Conversations About Money. Just want to say thank y'all so much. You know I always got to start with gratitude because I do not take it for granted that y'all are listening. So in bringing up Mindfully Rich Conversations About Money, you know that you can listen and watch. I've taken a break from the normal episodes just for one more week. So this is the third week of Mindfully Rich Conversations About Money. I have one more week, and then I'm going to bring you episodes as usual. You will still get a chance to hear some previews of Mindfully Rich Conversations About Money, but I'm not going to have them on the podcast like I've been doing them right now. I thought about initially overloading it where you would get an episode of Mindfully Rich podcast like you really would get, and then also having the series Mindfully Rich Conversations About Money. But then I decided that would be too much for me because it's a lot, child. One woman team over here. I thought I could do it. I couldn't. Full transparency. This is how we gonna rock. Okay, this is what we're gonna do for right now. So I got a good series coming up for y'all coming up on the regular Mindfully Rich podcast. So make sure y'all are tuned in for May. I promise y'all are going to love it. It starts next week. Promise. Y'all are going to love it. You're going to be sharing this thing far and wide, okay? Just like you would normally do, but even more, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and stop yapping. And just in case you're new to the podcast and you haven't heard my new series, Mindfully Rich Conversations About Money, here's some details on that. Y'all, this has been a labor of love. Because I love having deep conversations, I wanted to try something different. I have brought y'all 113 episodes of me solo. So I decided to bring on some very special guests so that they can drop some gems about money, just because everybody done been through something in their own financial life. And I said, why not bring on some guests? Some successful guests who have lived and they have learned some lessons. And I want you to hear some of their perspectives, hear some of the gems that they have about money, because being in this industry, I don't know what it is, but learning from others and some of the mistakes, some of the successes, the things that they have learned from their money experiences can help you with yours. So without further ado, I bring to you Mindfully Rich Conversations About Money. Hello, hello, and welcome to Mindfully Rich Conversations About Money. I am your host, Gina Richie Richardson. And once again, because this is so new, I want to make sure that y'all all know what this is about, because y'all know me from my podcast, Mindfully Rich Podcast, of course. But I wanted to start something that was a little deeper, talking about money. Me being a financial educator, me being a financial coach, me being a girl who just loves talking about money and finance as a whole, I know that there are deeper conversations that need to be had about money. And so what I did with these conversations was I decided to bring on my friends and friends in my head, just because there's lots of people that I don't know that you may get a chance to see as well, but they friends in my head because I feel like they got something to say. And I wanted to bring these guests on so that we can all drop some gems and you can hear the gems that they have about money and how it relates to their actual lives, just because I truly do believe that we all learn, especially in the money realm, from stories. I'm a story girl. I love stories. I love Disney. I love all of those things. And so I wanted to make sure that I was able to get deep, talk about money, and talk about money through stories. And so, as you see, I have a guest here with me. And so I'm one who loves for my guests to introduce themselves and tell everybody about you so that way they can know it from your mouth. All right. So, Chad, thank you so much for being here. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone and let everyone know some things about you?
Great. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. My name is Chadwick Johnson. I am an injury lawyer. I have my own practice here, and I'm a big mindfulness enthusiast. So I'm all about having inner peace and being able to use your mind to create the life that you want to create. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right. And that's what we share in common, that mindfulness, right? You have
Yes.
injury lawyer. And I was just like, initially, I was like, wow, that is really a twist for a lawyer to bring that mindfulness into your business. And that was a big part of me even naming my brand when I started this a while ago, just because I wanted to make sure I'm deep already. I'm a Capricorn. And so I'm already thinking and I'm very mindful and very intentional with the things that I do. And so I wanted a brand, especially when I'm talking about money, that thought about it on a deeper level. So I really do like that we share that in common. And so, Chad, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna have some deep conversations on here. And so
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
we gotta
do
go
it.
ahead and get into it. And so, how does your upbringing affect your relationship with money?
Oh, um, what my parents were trying to kind of get it together as I was a child. So I grew up with a mentality of lack. Like it
Mm,
was always not enough money to do whatever we needed to do.
yeah,
We were always moving into different locations from house to house. I would have to miss out on activities and you know I wouldn't say we were in poverty because
mhm,
I don't remember being hungry. We
yeah,
was always eating, you know. That's to me like food was there. Food was on the table. Um, I wasn't necessarily sad from uh, not having a lot of money,
yeah,
but I definitely grew up into my adulthood with a sense of lack
mm,
and and basically fear that I was going to be poor,
mhm,
and actually the determination not to be,
yeah,
and I wanted to make sure that my kids they didn't grow with that same sense of lack.
yeah,
And one thing my parents did do at a crucial time, I think I was going into the 5th grade that summer,
uh-huh,
is we moved from uh you know Texas in an area that was not very affluent
mm,
into Marin County, which
mhm,
where I was surrounded by affluent people who had money, and we just stayed in an apartment complex that was situated somewhere near those people. So a lot of my friends had money, their families had money. So I was exposed to what money can do and a
yeah.
different lifestyle. So that was huge. That was a huge part of my upbringing.
Wow, what age was that again that you said that you moved into? You said Marin County where you were around all the affluence?
So I was I think I was 10. I was
10?
10 years old. Yeah. And we were still kind of struggling financially,
Mhm.
but I was going to birthday parties in mansions. I was all my friends were driving up in cars, and
Yeah.
even my teachers in that neighborhood were have it had brand new cars, and I just remember thinking, man, these people are
They got
rich.
money if the teachers got money.
Right? I mean, I remember my teacher had a 1985 uh, Nissan Maxima,
Uh-huh.
and it was 1985, and I thought she was rich. I was like, man, she is rich. She is driving that car, and I just at that time I thought that was rich.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah, yeah.
I have a similar story, and thank you for sharing that. And so it wasn't until because I grew up in Harvey, Illinois, which Harvey and Markham, Illinois, which is right outside of Chicago. So I'm going to say probably about 10, 15 minutes outside the city limits of Chicago. And so
Hmm.
growing up, just like you don't know, like you said, it doesn't feel like poverty because you still have a roof over your head, you're still eating, and it feels like you got everything that you need, and everybody around you is going through that. That's their reality as well. So y'all don't know
Right.
nothing else because you're playing with the same kids that are in this neighborhood that are going through the same things as you. You're going to the school where the kids are also in the same predicament as you. It wasn't until
Right.
I'll say like high school when I was like, "Oh, what's these bags that the girls is carrying?" When they had the Dooney and Burke, that was the thing, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then everybody got Jordans on and all this name brand, Jabot, Coogee. I'm naming all the brands that was going on back in the day for me, and
Right.
what was that, Anichi and all of them, and I'm just like, oh, what's all of this? And so I wasn't used to wearing, those type of clothes because we didn't buy that. I didn't have like the name brand shoes and things like that, which forced me to want to work earlier in life so that way I can kind of keep up essentially, with the students and look hip. The thing that saved me in high school, I was an athlete, I was a cheerleader, and I
Mhm.
wore my cheerleading outfit or we wore sweats all throughout the day. So I didn't have to worry about trying to keep up or purses and things like that. I had on a cheerleading outfit all the time. And so, but I wanted to
Mhm.
go back to what you said. I used to visit my cousins in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I started when I was 12 years old. My
Mhm.
mom, she put me on an Amtrak train, which I still don't get to this day, but it was a good thing. But it was like a girl child by herself at 12 on an Amtrak to Grand Rapids, Michigan, which was 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours away. I'm like, thank
Mhm.
God I made it. Okay. I used to do that back and forth, through the winter.
Right.
It was like, I'm like, what did you do that? But my cousins and them, to me, they were rich. They had an upstairs, downstairs, and that's what we called it. Like even to this day,
Upstairs, downstairs.
I don't care how much money I get. Upstairs, downstairs is what it's called. It ain't a two-story no more. Okay.
Yes.
And
That
I
is
was
it.
like, oh, look at them upstairs, downstairs. And then they had two cars, like it was just, we would go to the mall and they would give me money I'm used to window shopping at the mall. They was like, here's $200. Go get what? 200.
Right.
I'm about to
Right.
light them all up. And it was just, we would go out to eat just because it was Tuesday. I had
Mhm.
never, and I'm going to keep going with the question, but I had never been out to eat when I was 12 and I first went to go visit them. We went to a restaurant, it was Cheddar's. And I can remember
Mhm.
the lady came to the table and she said, what dressing would you like? She asked me, and I was like, tell her the orange one because I didn't know what it was called. We ain't never really called it one. I don't remember us calling it French or anything like that. I was like, just tell her
Right.
the or Catalina or whatever, it's called. And so that was such an experience, but it was from that experience that made me say, dang, I want to know more about how I can get a lifestyle like that, which made me then have to look into, all right, there are different classes of people. There are people who make, high amounts of money. There are people who are in lower class. So it made me look into that because I knew from seeing them, I'm going to have an upstairs, downstairs. That's what I knew.
Right. Right.
I knew.
Hey,
Right.
I feel you. I feel the same way. That is so true.
Yes, but thank you for sharing that. And so moving on, what is the most difficult decision you've had to make financially?
Woo. So, I've had some difficult decisions to make, but I think the biggest decision I made was when I um, quit my law firm. When I was hired, I was making more money than I had ever made,
Hmm.
and I decided to quit to start my own practice. That
Oh,
was a difficult decision.
oh,
Um, it was difficult because obviously I had never made the amount of money that I was making,
hmm,
but I also knew that that was what my former boss was kind of using to
yeah,
keep me there,
yeah,
and I also, again, I saw the money he was making.
yeah,
I would work really hard on a case and it would settle for $100,000,
yeah,
and then he would get a check for $33,000. And I would be like, dang, he
Okay.
got a check for one settlement, one settlement, and he got $33,000, right? So I was like, okay, I know that financial freedom is not in a job.
Yeah.
Financial freedom is in entrepreneurship, at least, and that was my mentality. So I was
Yeah.
like, before I get too comfortable with this six figures or whatever, I was well into the six figures.
Yeah.
Before I get too comfortable, let me just go back and just be broke. I've been broke before, and start from scratch. It was the best. It was a difficult decision, but it was the best decision I could have ever made.
Chad, I feel like, and sometimes people don't understand what I mean when I say, being broke once is a superpower because it's like, you know how to do it. I've did it before. I've made it. I can figure this out and I can go further. Because if I did it before, I can do it again.
Absolutely, that is the truth. And you're just willing to, because sometimes in order to move forward, you have to take steps backwards. And that's
Absolutely.
in every area of life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's really in every area of life, but really financially, you got to be willing to say, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to take steps backwards so that I could take steps forward. And
Absolutely.
having the fearlessness to do that
Yeah.
is just that's what separates people who do and don't,
Abs-
at the end of the
Absolutely.
day.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna say, I feel like you almost pivoted more so. It could be looked at as a step back, but you pivoted to move yourself forward.
Well, I actually, yeah, exactly. You could say
Mhm.
pivot because, at the end of the day, the more money you make, you're never going to get to a point where you're like, okay, this is where I'm good.
I know.
It's like a moving target. There's a carrot out in front of you, right?
Absolutely.
So, but one thing you will get is a sense of freedom,
Yeah.
right? Before you will, like right now, there's I have goals and aspirations. I still have goals to, prepare for my children's children,
Yeah.
to make way for them in a way. I'm not there yet. I have goals, but I
Yeah.
have freedom. I do have the freedom.
And,
You know what I
and the
mean?
goals just get
That
bigger,
come
right?
and the goals just get bigger.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to say this. I mean, because that was a big decision that you made to stop working at the law firm and to start your own. And
hmm
how do you feel about that decision now?
That was the best decision I could have ever made.
So
I
worth
mean, really. It was so worth it. I mean, I also had to make a decision I was working as a computer programmer for 16 years for Hewlett Packard.
Oh,
And I had to quit that job to when I changed careers and became an attorney.
yeah,
Um, and I was offered a job to become an attorney. I also had to, that was kind of a risk there, but not like the one where you're just jumping off with no safety net.
where it's just
You
you.
know that.
But you got to now build,
Yeah.
build. I mean, going out on your own is a different beast. And so, Chad, thank you for mentioning
Mhm.
that, especially for someone listening that's in a career field. Because lots of time people go into career fields, and you were in a career field that I'm assuming made with good money. And
Well, decent.
people, you said what?
I said it was decent. Yeah, I mean, I supported my family. I have a large family, 5 kids, me and my
Yeah,
wife,
yeah,
and we we ate every day.
yeah. Okay, good,
You know what I'm
good.
saying? So we were good.
That's good. And so, switching career fields, sometimes people are scared to do things like that. But I do feel like that's what you said, the difference between the people who do and the people who don't. You have to be willing to bet on yourself, and you bet on yourself quite a few times. And like you
Yeah,
said, that's something that I talk to my coaching clients and when I'm educating people. You have a goal that's bigger than you. Your why is bigger
yeah,
than you. So that's what helps you with making those jumps and
yes,
running so that way you could be successful in those jumps and those decisions that you've made.
absolutely. I mean, you gotta sometimes you have to jump and then learn how to unfold your wings while you're falling.
Hey, look,
Period. You know what I
look,
mean? And really, you know, that's what God is waiting for us to do in order to take us to the next level. You
mm,
cannot do the same thing. You
hmm
can't stay in your comfort zone doing the same thing and expect extraordinary results. You got to do something extraordinary.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, when God says he wants to bless us exceedingly abundantly more than we can ever believe, we don't even know what that abundance even looks like. And sometimes we've never even dreamed it because we're dreaming down here and it's like it's way up there. So you have to continue
Right.
to, it's out there for you to go get. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that
Yeah.
up. So moving
Mhm.
on, I wanted to ask, what was your biggest struggle in your finances and how did you recover from it?
I think the biggest struggle in my financial situation was always like I didn't understand what it takes in order to make money.
Hmm.
I started I'm 48 years old. I From the time I started working, I've started so many businesses. I cannot
Mhm.
tell you how many businesses I've started. Multi-level marketing from Melaleuca to everything you could think of under the sun.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of like side hustles. I did them in my spare time. And every time I started a new business, it did a little bit better. It did a
Mhm.
little bit better. But it took me a while to realize the amount of effort and focus, psychological, emotional attention you have to put into something in order to give it enough energy to get
Yeah.
off the ground and into
Yeah.
space so that it's flying. And I had to just learn that lesson over and over again until it was like, okay, or okay, that wasn't it. You got to give more.
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't it. You got to give more. And just realizing what my capacity was. And
Yeah.
even to this day, I know that I have more in me,
Yeah.
and there's more fear to face,
Yeah.
no matter where you are, there's more fear to face. And I think that is the biggest, you know, um, just lesson that I've learned is that, you got to constantly be facing your fears, and there's
Mhm.
always another level. There's
Yeah.
always another level. You have more capacity than you think.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you mentioned that. And so even when you said the amount that you need to put into, earning that money, I didn't realize the amount of focus that I needed. Like I thought I could just have an idea and then now all of a sudden it's just going to come to me, right? I am
Right.
learning every single day, especially with the Mindfully Rich brand that I'm creating, that I have to focus it. I can do so many things, but that's my ADHD and this is self-diagnosed, but it's like
Right. Right.
everywhere. We do this, we do that, we do this. And it's like, I'm learning, like, girl, you got to like focus this thing and do these things. So that way you could be known for these things. And that way you can get the business that you're looking for, your ideal customers and your clients and everyone. They're going to come to you after you focus it. And so I have
Right.
stopped relying on looking at I have to listen to what people want, but I have to focus in on that thing that I feel. I'm trying to figure out a good way to say this. I have to focus in on that thing that I know that I do best in all of the
Hmm.
things that I do, and then look at, okay, well, how is that reacting, with everyone else? And so that's something that I've been doing and cutting back just because it's too many services is too much. And
Yes. And then on top of that, to add to that is that
yeah,
God does have all those things for you.
yeah,
He gave you many talents. He
yeah,
gave you many talents, but maybe right now you need to focus on the thing that you're on and then use that as a platform to do everything else.
everything.
And,
Yes,
you know, that
yeah,
is the gift. That one thing, find that one thing,
yeah,
and then use that to do all the things. You are not limited. That's not to say that you are limited in
yeah.
any way. You are unlimited, but we have to
But
start
not now.
somewhere.
Yeah, just a not
Yep.
now for all of those things. And I like that. I like that.
Right.
And this
Right.
my next question kind of compounds on what you were saying earlier about making money. So I want to know, how has the ability to make money or build wealth changed in your life over time?
Um, I will say one of the main ways
Mhm.
is, first of all, I don't burn bridges. I love people, and people love me back.
Yes.
Okay, so I've stayed in Sacramento. I went to college here. I
Yeah.
play football. I'm in my fraternity. Shout out to the Noobs, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Hey, oops.
And I went to law school here. And everywhere I went, the people I met, I had no ulterior motive other than to just be a good person and to be a good friend for them.
Yeah.
So fast forward, now I have my own business, and all those people over the years, they just want to support me.
Mm.
You know, they want to, you know, refer me clients.
Yeah.
They attest to our friendship and who I've been over the years, the consistency of who I've been over the years. So I would say the biggest thing is your network.
Yeah.
We depend on each other. We
Mm-hmm.
need each other. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to have any success by yourself. You need
Absolutely.
others. You need others.
Absolutely. Oh, Chad, I'm so glad that you said that because I tell people that like when I'm talking about, financial wellness or when I'm educating or coaching, and I add your network is a way to build wealth. And people
Yes.
that look like your network, yes, the people that you're around, the people that you know, those relationships that you build, they're so important. And you said this, we can't do it on our own. If we were able to just do stuff on our own, it'll just be us here. But we're all here for,
Right.
we're
That's
all here
it.
for a
That's it.
reason. Yeah, and building, those relationships. I would say I'm not from Sacramento originally. Like I said, I'm from
Mhm.
Markham, Harvey, Illinois, right outside of
Right.
Chicago, and I've been
Right.
here 8 years. I initially came here. I don't know why I felt the need to bring this up, but I'll be telling my
No,
business
it's okay.
on the
It's
podcast
okay.
all the time. They and
It's
the people,
yours. It's
yeah,
yours.
the people who've been listening to me, they just be like, this girl just got to tell us all her business. Yes, I am. Okay. So I initially came here. I was married for 12 years. And so my ex-husband is military. And
Okay.
when we separated, I found Sacramento because I was on Beale Air
Okay.
Force Base and I found Sacramento. And so I decided to make this place home because a piece of me, of course, shame. I'm going back and now everybody's gonna see, y'all didn't make it. That was what was in my head
Right.
because at the time I was 30.
Okay.
And so I was
Okay.
like, I don't know. But now, as I sit here, these 8 years that I've been here, I have enjoyed it. And I've done just like what you said. I've made those connections. I'm just a
Hmm.
fun-loving person anyway. I'm one of those people, very genuine. People would never guess that I'm an only child. Well, only child from my mom. I did find out I
Right.
have a brother after my father's
Yep.
passing. But I
Yes.
grew up as an only child. I have my god siblings who are like real siblings to me, but people would never know
Hmm.
that because I always want to, support and be there. I'm very good at making connections and helping others, and I've just always just tried to be genuine. I'm an authentic person, and just like you said, I've built my professional my professional circle out here, which has grown all the business that I've had. They're the ones who like to refer me. My sorority, shout out to the finer women of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. They have just referred me everywhere in places that I would have never thought that I would get on my own. And I don't ever think that I can go somewhere on my own. So thank you so much for bringing that light because lots of people don't understand your network can help you with building your wealth. It can be
Yes.
to determine your net worth just because you,
That's,
you need people. You need people. We all know different people. And when I'm talking with youth, I'm telling them, you never know who's sitting next to you. Okay. That may
hmm.
be the future boss
Yes.
next to you. You may be their, future subordinate. That may be the president of a company that you may need to work with. So you want to just be
Right.
yourself and be good to
Yeah.
everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot understate the importance of that. And I would not have been able to take the risk to jump out on my own if I didn't have that network, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I guess I would have, but it would not have flourished in the way that it did so fast.
Yeah.
Um, you just want to just support other people in what they're doing, encourage people, and
Yeah.
just be that type of person that is just genuine and not trying to you're not doing it for any other reason other than to be kind and loving. And then when you need something, I guarantee it's there for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
once again, thank you for saying that. And I believe the saying is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, do it together.
Yes.
That's where
Yes.
that comes in. And I'm not usually good with quotes. I normally got to look them up, but that's one I do. That's
Yeah,
one I do
it's
remember.
accurate. That's a good one to know.
Yes, yes. So, what has earning money? I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this. What has earning money done for you in your life? And what is the purpose now for earning money in your life versus what it was back probably when you first became an adult?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know that when I first started, when before I had money,
Mhm.
you want things.
Mhm.
You want things, you want a house, you want a car, you want to be able to buy clothes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I would say now I still appreciate things. I still
Things are cool.
like to buy things are fun. Things are cool. Um, but I like like I said, I like the freedom. I don't want to have to worry about nothing. If
Yes.
my daughter sent me a text just before this podcast, her car is making a sound.
Mm.
Okay,
We
I'm gonna
got it.
we'll take care of that. I ain't stopping this podcast for that. I'll take care of that. Go drop it off at the shop and we'll take care of it. I remember a day when I would be like, oh, another thing,
Yeah.
another thing to deal with. So that freedom, um, if I want to, entrepreneurship is also a freedom as well. But just financially, it allows me to not be worried about things like, oh, if we want to go on a vacation,
Yeah.
um, you know, my wife wants to stay another night in the hotel,
Right? Because
little
like
things
you
like
say,
this.
when we there, we having fun. Let's
Right, right,
I hear that.
right, right. You want to stay another hotel, babe? Let's stay another night then. You know what I mean? And just not worrying about it. That freedom is just something I ain't gonna lie, it's not like old money. I'm still kind of getting used to that freedom. It's kind of I'm first generation of having some money extra that I'm
Yeah.
not living check to check, you know.
Yeah.
Um at the same time, more money, more more problems, or more taxes, more
Hey,
money, more taxes, more
well,
money, more lending out, helping others, trying to figure out how to do that.
yeah.
Um, but those I don't even I'm not worried about those issues. It's the blessings of having some financial freedom. And also, like you said, now I can start planning for most of the things we want to do in life take money.
They do.
You have to invest. You have to invest money in order to do the next thing you're trying to do,
To make
right?
some
So
money. Yeah.
now you gotta take money to make money. So now I have the opportunity to start thinking about other endeavors, my
Yeah.
hobbies, support my hobbies.
Yeah.
You know, it take money if I want to get into, investing in properties and
Yeah.
just kind of create another financial uh, opportunity in that area.
Yeah.
Now I could think about, okay, do I want to invest in a property and how to do so? It just gives you more opportunities in every way. I just can't.
Yes. You
I hope that kind of
Oh
answers the
no, it
question.
absolutely does. The thing is just because this is now my fourth recording, and so
Hmm.
everyone has mentioned freedom. What the ability to
Freedom.
earn money has done for them, what it means to them now is freedom. And so one thing about me, my love language is stability, security, access, and I've now
Hmm.
added freedom since I've heard it so many times, just because I feel like the access
Right.
part was kind of like, giving it that. But it's like like you said, I don't want to have to worry about if something breaks, if something happens, do we got it? Can we do this? Can we do that? Growing up with that lack, I understand what that looks like. And I don't want to be there. And my life has changed so much in the last, I'm going to say, because after going through a divorce, that was kind of like that was a season, child. Let me tell you what. And so
Yes.
after that,
I'm sure.
rebuilding, I live a completely different life. I ain't balling nothing just in case he watching, but I just just do a little bit. Just do a little bit. Yeah. But
Right.
I don't have those worries of, oh, this happened. Like, it happened. I've learned that when I have this positive attitude about it, even when I have it, I don't want to get into that loop of, oh, dang this, dang that, or anything, just because I can remember a time when I couldn't do anything about it. And so why complain about it now? Now I just move forward. Don't complain about it. Don't do anything. Just say, thank you, God, for allowing me to even have it so that I can, fix it, or I can not go without. Now I can take the car to the shop just because my car now is the longest car that this is the longest time frame that I've had a car, and it's my baby. It's my Impala. I freaking love it. I'm gonna give it to one of the kids so I can get my Tesla. That's what I'm
Right.
claiming. Not yet, but I am. And so when I take it in and they pop up and want to say, oh yeah, well, we need to do this that costs $200-$300. You want to do it today?
Right.
And I never get why they think, oh, $200-$300 is just okay to just spring on somebody right at that particular.
Right.
Sometimes they do stuff that's like, you can get this check today and it's almost $1,000, and I'm just supposed to be like, yeah, I could say
Right.
yes now, but it's like I'd be like, well, let's section it out a bit and let me check it out. Let me make sure y'all telling the truth,
Right.
But
Let me ride on that thing for a minute.
yeah, let me just see. Let me make sure. I ain't gonna ride it till it go out, but till it's almost out. Okay.
Right. Right.
But I am happy to be in a different space where I can do what I need to do when I need to do it, because of the financial decisions I've made in my life, because of the financial empowerment that I've been able to input into my own life that I now impart into other people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And more spending, you
Yes.
know, the sense of lack also will make us want to hoard. When we get a little bit of money, make you want to keep it and put it in a shoebox under the bed so you don't run out. But
Yes.
the freedom to just
Yes.
circulate the money, spend it, send it out so it can come back to
Come
you.
back to
You know what
you.
I mean? It'll
Yes.
come back to you. Let that thing circulate. Let them
Absolutely.
dollars circulate out there. They'll come back.
Absolutely. See, that's a word. That's a word. I hope everybody they take it in. They are. I'm gonna say that. That we
Yeah,
can't hear them right now. One day I'm
yeah,
gonna do things live so people can be saying comments and stuff. But right now it's just starting out. So, but yes,
right.
I love it.
Yeah,
What being said.
we got our own snaps.
There you go. There you go. It's so since it's Financial Literacy Month, I'm doing a series on unlearning bad financial habits that you learned from your childhood or from your parents. What is
Hmm.
one financial habit that you had to unlearn from your childhood and or from your parents?
Um, ooh, good one.
I know, right?
Uh, well, I would say, just I pay my bills.
Yeah,
I just pay them.
yeah.
I pay what I owe. Um, I pay on time,
There you go.
credit. We don't learn about credit in our community,
Yeah,
until we already have bad credit,
absolutely.
right? Bad, you gotta always, it seems like you never, like my kids, I'm making sure that they don't start from bad and have to fix it. You
Yeah,
know, we're gonna start good. And that's one thing, just making sure that I pay bills on time, don't buy anything I can't afford,
yeah.
and just be responsible in that area.
Hmm.
And sometimes that means you have to do without. Sometimes that means that you have to spend your extra
Hmm.
on a bill,
Yeah,
and um, just being a good steward of my money. And then when you make a little bit more money, it's easier to do that,
yeah.
obviously. It's easy to pay your bills on time, etc. But before I had extra, I had made me and my wife, we made up a decision that, we made the decision that we were gonna, start paying our bills on time, pay off our credit cards, and get
Hmm.
out of debt, and just do those things that seem like they take forever. But
Yeah.
that's like when he said you got to take steps backwards before you take
Yep.
steps forward. Sometimes just getting your bills under control, paying off some of that debt
Yeah.
is like the steps that you have to take, and it, you know, that was a tough lesson for me to learn, you know.
Yeah, but you learned it. That's the good thing.
Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
good thing. And I'm glad that
Yeah.
you brought up because I talk with couples when they're managing their finances together. And so I'm glad that you brought that up for those people out there who are managing finances, with a partner, with a spouse. Sometimes I know that that can be a hard journey, but you mentioned how y'all were able to be on the same page and have those same goals. Do you think that y'all having those goals together and getting on that same page has attributed to the success that y'all have seen probably in your finances?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the teamwork make the dream work,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been with my wife, we've been married for 26 years. So we've been
Oh, wow.
my whole yeah, pretty much
Congratulations.
thank you. Pretty much my whole adult life we've been married. And when we first got together, we there was no separation in money. There was
Yeah.
just like what do we have, and there never has been. And so money could never really create an issue in our marriage, an issue.
Yeah.
But we did make some bad financial decisions along the way, so we both suffered from those decisions.
Together.
So yeah, so we was both willing to stop suffering. And also, my wife, we decided, even though we was broke, we decided to have a lot of kids. So we made the decision early on that my wife was not going to work,
Okay.
and she was going to stay home with the kids and handle that, which would have freed me up to go out and you know hunt and gather,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that teamwork has allowed us to, I mean, even to this day, like right now, I want her to kick her feet up, and I just want to treat her like a queen, because if it wasn't for her sacrifice, I wouldn't have been able to get out here and do what I did. So yeah, that teamwork definitely makes the dream work.
Yes, and Lord, do you hear this? For my next marriage, I want to make sure that
Right.
this is what he believes. Okay,
God is preparing you.
making sure the Lord is hearing
Absolutely.
this. Just that, put that in him, Lord. Okay. Um,
That right there.
yes.
For
Well, I mean,
real.
that's
Yes.
that's really good, and it sounds like y'all had to build that trust, and that's something that I tell people, you have to have that trust with one another, and there has to be alignment. Y'all being on the same page, and it sounds like y'all were on the same page, and it's worked out great for y'all.
Yeah, and I'll add to that
Yeah,
we've always had a God-centered relationship,
yeah,
and a faith-based relationship. And my wife loves God more than she loves me. And
yes,
it took a long time for me to kind of swallow that. And
yeah,
then I matured late spiritually as well. But when
mhm,
I did, I went hard in the paint, and I started to realize that as long as we put God first, that'll
mhm,
bring us closer together. And you know, it's a spiritual this is spiritual warfare out here. Whether it's financial or
yeah,
relationship wise or whatever you're going through, it's spiritual warfare. So we got to make sure God is the center of our lives, and he will
absolutely.
God is providence. God is what provides, right? So the birds out there, they will find a worm somewhere to eat, because
Abs-
God will make sure,
Absolutely.
right?
I'm going to also attribute your success with your wife. Of course, that's always a hard pill for for anybody to accept, just because we're supposed to love God more than we love anything else. And
Hmm.
she's probably praying over you and praying over your success. And that's not probably,
Absolutely.
she was praying over you and praying over your success, which is what attributed to the success that y'all were able to gain together. When you got a praying woman over
Exactly.
you, God looks
Yeah. And you
God looks out for his princesses.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, like, my wife, she wants stability. She don't trust in Chad for stability. I'm not gonna bring I'm not gonna bring her stability and
Absolutely.
comfort. No, until she sees that I'm turning toward God, that's when she'll be able to give me more trust as
Mm,
the leader of the household. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that until I fell on my face and surrendered my life to God completely, 100%. And then next thing you know, I got a wife that is looking to me for guidance. And I'm like, oh, so that's how it works. That's
Mhm.
how it works. There's an order of things,
Absolutely, in order to things. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I may have to bring y'all back on here and we do some couples finance, because a lot of people
Let's
don't know
do
how to
it.
manage money together. And then I may have to gather some other couples. So I could do a couple series, just because I like this. All of this is great. So tell your wife I'm calling y'all back,
It's,
because you didn't drop some gems. Because this is
that's
an
all right.
a lot of people struggle with. And growing up,
Mhm.
especially in our community, finances aren't something that are talked about, and you don't learn how to manage finances with someone. I have what I call the mindfully rich adulting experience, where I sometimes couple kids up together, not kids because it's normally students up together, so they can learn how to manage finances together. But that's a new thing. That's not something that people learn. And so I don't know, you've dropped so many gems. I have so many clips now that I'm gonna
Awesome.
be sharing, just because so much depth in the things that you're talking about, and keeping God first. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
conversation, and everybody can believe in what they want to believe, but keeping God first in my life has always brought the blessings and abundance that I've needed to keep the mindset that I need to have, so that I can continue on this journey.
absolutely. That's
Yes.
it, girl.
Yes.
That's
All right.
I'm
I know
so
I'm
glad you brought me on.
yes, yes. And so, Chad, I didn't ran this thing a little long, but I'm gonna little two questions. I promise I won't even buddy in too much. I promise. I promise.
No rush.
What's one financial gem someone offered you that you still use to this day?
Um, I would say, especially for entrepreneurs, just pay your taxes. Set aside money for taxes and make sure that you pay your taxes. I mean, uh, you know, it's inevitable. It's one of those things that we have to deal with. And the thing is when you start making more money, you you envision, like when I make $200,000 a year, you envision a certain lifestyle based on that $200,000, but you're not envisioning the amount of taxes that you're gonna have to pay on that two hundred
Oh,
thousand dollars as well, right?
yeah.
And you don't realize that your lifestyle doesn't change that much at 200,000 because you have to give so much to taxes. So
Yes.
I would just say, make sure you pay your taxes, and then pay yourself first. Pay
Yes.
yourself first. um, Either invest some money into something that's going to be there for you in the future, or
Yeah.
into your family, or into your life. Make sure you carve off some of that before you pay your bills, before
Yeah.
you pay your mortgage or whatever. If you can, just
Yeah.
kind of carve something off and pay yourself. Not
Mm,
something that you could pay and then spend right away. I'm talking about something for the older, more wise you.
yeah.
Put a nest egg aside for that part of you.
Great gems. I tell people it's for your future self, like you just said. Your future self will thank you. Okay.
Your
I
future
wish,
self will thank you.
yes, I wish when I was 18 where that I would have, saved for my future self. If I would have just started with just a
Hmm.
little bit and thinking about all the money that I could have had. But I don't live in coulda, woulda, shouldas. I just look at what
Yeah.
it is I could do now, because I know future Gina's gonna need it.
And then also I would add to that, we're kind of talking about investing in yourself, but just literally spend money on your self development.
Yes.
Pay That is the best money you could spend. Find
Yeah.
a coach that's on your level, because there's levels to this coaching, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to go get the top notch coach if you're
Mhm.
not top notch right now.
Not
Go
yet.
find a coach that's further along in life than you are,
Yeah.
and find out how much they charge, and pay them what they charge. It's worth it, to have a coach. I always have a coach.
Abs Chad, thank you
Always.
for saying that. You just dropping so many gems. Like, I always think of I was a big No Limit fan back in the day. Like, I was a No
Hmm.
Limit soldier, and you couldn't tell me that I wasn't. Okay. And when Master P said that he paid Michael Jackson's lawyer $25,000 just to give him a piece of advice that ended up making him millions, people, I don't believe, value that advice and or coaching that someone else knows, because we only know what we know. And that thing that
Yeah.
someone else knows can be the thing that stratospheres us into our next blessing.
That is the truth. Again, it goes back to others. You're not going to be able to do it yourself. You don't have the knowledge that you have. You can learn a lot on YouTube, but if God brings to somebody, there's a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will come.
Yeah,
When God brings that teacher into your life, whether it be a book or a person or a mentor or a TV show or whatever, when
yeah,
you're ready, be mindful. And if they have a price, if they have a cost, scrape it together, because it will um, pay you back multiple times
absolutely.
over,
Tenfold. T- that's the reason why
tenfold.
coaches charge so much. I know I do. Because what I know finna help you. Okay. But
Right,
it's one
right,
of those things
right.
where it's
Pay
like
her.
years of knowledge, that I'm about to go ahead and give to you. And that's what coaches do. And that's the reason why, they're there. Now, of course, research, because you don't want to just get anybody, of course, but
Right,
research, but
right.
that is such a gem that you drop
Yeah.
with making sure that you have those coaches. And so, my last question for you is, like I said, I named this brand Mindfully Rich, years and years ago, just because of my mindfulness, my intentionalness, and, being rich, not only financially, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. What does being mindfully rich mean to you when you hear that?
Um, what I hear is, and I will say that when I saw the name of your podcast, I was like, this is, or I met you as you're the mindfully rich girl. You've been that since I met you. And
Yeah.
I just always felt like, you are on to something, because, you know, I feel like without mindfulness, I wouldn't have been able to acquire any of the whatever wealth that I have right now, right? Your mind will talk you. We have so many psychological barriers. Your
Yes.
mind will talk you out of all your riches. Your mind
Yes.
will tell you you're not worthy. Your mind will tell you you can't. Your mind will convince you to make a decision for now and not for later, right?
Yes.
So when I think about mindfully rich, I think about controlling, understanding who you are, self-awareness, being, you know, aware of when your mind is trying to do things that is not that best interest, being conscious of when you are making a decision that is not in your future self's best interest again, and then also feeding the mind, feeding the mind with information and resources that will help you be wealthy or rich in the future. So mindfully rich is such a beautiful title, and I just encourage you, girl, to just go and change the world. That's what you're doing. That's what you're
I
doing.
sure, I'm a superhero. I love Marvel, so that's what
You
I would do.
are.
I
You
absolutely would
are.
do that. And so, and I want to thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And I know that we've went over the initial time that I told you that I wanted to do, but this conversation was just so rich and full with lots of gems. And so I thank you for offering that to my audience. I would love for you to let everyone know where they can find you on. I use IG because I know that that's kind of like one of the main platforms. So you could just let them know where
Yeah.
they can find you at on whatever platform that happens to be.
Yeah. So mindful injury law. That's what you can find me on IG. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook. There's not a lot of injury lawyers that are focused on mindfulness, so I monopolized that name. So
There you go.
yeah, mindful injury
Chad got
law.
the
There you go.
moves. Chad got the moves. He be dancing and doing all of the things on the TikTok.
Don't tell them the secrets. Don't tell them the secrets. I appreciate
Oh,
you.
man.
I appreciate you.
So Chad, and if everyone, just because I want to make sure that my audience, they can flood out your emails and everything. If they would like to work with you, what type of clients do you work with, and how can they start working with you?
I appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm an injury lawyer. So my clients, I would say 80, 90% of my clients have been involved in car accidents. And when they are not at fault, I'm a plaintiff's attorney. So I help clients get compensated from the insurance companies. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my daily task is to fight against insurance companies for my clients. So if you're injured in a car accident, slip and fall in a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
get bit by a dog, etc., those
Mm-hmm.
are the type of clients that I take.
All right. All right. Well, y'all heard it here from Chad, where you can find him and the clients that he works with. And Chad, once again, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and being a part of the Mindfully Rich conversations about money. This has been great. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And y'all catch me back here next week.